Hello. So I've decided to start a sort of project because I think a project might do me good. I've never really had one before. What I'm going to do for now is I'm going to read Perks of Being a Wallflower because I know someone who I used to read this book to, and we only got about halfway through it. And I thought this might be an interesting way to try and continue/finish that so that he can see the movie, because he needs to read the book first. And therefore be able to enjoy 2 hours or whatever of Emma Watson having a not exactly perfect American accent, so I've heard. I haven't seen the movie either. But it sounds priceless and wonderful and exactly like how I would want to spend 2 hours. It's a shame that he hasn't read the book. So I'm just going to get started. I'm not very good at this. February 2nd, 1992. Dear friend, On the Road was a very good book. Bill didn't ask me to write a paper about it, because, like I said, it was a reward. He did ask me to visit him in his office after school to discuss it, which I did. He made tea, and I felt like a grown-up. He even let me smoke a cigarette in his office, but he urged me to quit smoking because of the health risks. He even had a pamphlet on his desk that he gave me. I now use it as a bookmark. I thought Bill and I were going to talk about the book, but we ended up talking about things. It was great to have so many discussions back to back. Bill asked me about Sam and Patrick and my parents, and I told him about getting my license and talking in the big boy. I also told him about my psychiatrist. I didn't tell him about the party or my sister and her boyfriend, though. They're still seeing each other in secret, which my sister says only adds to their passion. After I got through telling Bill about my life, I asked him about his. Did it just get darker? Not sure. Yes, probably did. It was nice, too, because he didn't try to be cool and relate to me or anything. He was just himself about it. He said that he studied undergraduate work at some college in the West that didn't give grades, which I thought was peculiar, but Bill said it was the best education he ever got. He said he'd give me a brochure when the time was right. After he went to Brown University for graduate school, Bill traveled around Europe for a while, and when he came home, he joined Teach for America. When this year is over, he thinks he is going to move to New York and write plays. I guess he's still pretty young, although I guess it would be rude to ask him. I did ask him if he had a girlfriend, though, and he said he didn't. He seemed sad when he said it, too, but I decided not to pry because I thought that would be too personal. Then he gave me my next book to read. It's called Naked Lunch. I started reading it when I got home, and to tell you the truth, I don't know what the guy is talking about. I would never tell Bill this. Sam told me that William S. Burroughs wrote the book when he was on heroin and that I should go with the flow. So I did. I still had no idea what he was talking about, so I went downstairs to watch television with my sister. The show was Gomer Pyle, and my sister was very quiet and moody. I tried to talk to her, but she just told me to shut up and leave her alone. So I watched the show for a few minutes, but it made even less sense to me than the book. So I decided to do my math homework, which was a mistake, because math has never made any sense to me. I was just confused all day. So I tried to help my mother in the kitchen, but I dropped the casserole, so she told me to read in my room until my father came home. But reading is what started this whole mess in the first place. Luckily, my father came home before I could pick up the book again, but he told me to stop hanging on his shoulders like a monkey because he wanted to watch the hockey game. I watched the hockey game with him for a while, but I couldn't stop asking him questions about which countries the players are from, and he was resting his eyes, which means he was sleeping but didn't want me to change the channel. So he told me to go watch television with my sister, which I did, but she told me to go help my mother in the kitchen, which I did, but then she told me to go read in my room, which I did. I've read about a third of the book now, and it's pretty good so far. Love always, Charlie. Alright, let's see if that made any noise. Sometimes I don't talk that loud.